but it will not solve it. But praying and trusting, no, that works. And he says, I will show sympathy to people who pray and trust. But if you're worrying, because you haven't grown to the place where you can trust, Jesus will still show you sympathy.
That's right. That's right.
So don't think that you got to be an overcomer and be this strong Christian for Jesus to show you sympathy. He will show you sympathy when you're weak, when you're weary, when you're worried. And he shows sympathy to women. Here's another account. There was a lady who was going through a divorce. And her mother fretted over her because she was going through this hard situation. She would have no income. She would have to get the same bills every single month with no income. No way to afford groceries. It was around this time that this woman began to find boxes of food outside her door every morning. This went on for months. Boxes of food until she was able to land a job. And she and her mother never found out who it was who left the groceries for them. But they said they saved our lives. It was God funneling out of his riches and glory.
That's right.
To take care of her in her time of need.
Jesus.
She was hurting. She was in pain. It's not God's will that people get divorced, but people get divorced. And it hurts. It causes separation, division, anger, and pain. But those people are not abandoned by God either. God still loves them. Well, he still loves people. Remember the woman caught in adultery? The Pharisees that brought that woman to Jesus said,
That's right. That's right.
we found this woman caught in adultery in the very act. Now what kind of person goes around snooping through windows to see what people commit adultery? We found her committing adultery. The law, Moses said in the law, such a one should be stoned. What do you say? Jesus said, he that is without sin among you, let him be the first one to cast a stone. We just write on the ground, started writing out the law. By the way, where's the man that was involved with this woman? Why is he not being brought so he can be stoned too? Maybe some of you was involved with them. Maybe you should be stoned. And he just wrote it down on the ground. And as they saw what he was writing on the ground, the law, the word of God, they were convicted and left because they didn't have a leg to stand on.
That's right.
So Jesus looked up at that woman and says, woman, where are those that accuse us? That no man condemned you?
That's right.
Where's ISIS? They always like to stone people. Where are these radical fanatics, legalists, hardy men that have no mercy, that have no sympathy for you in your penitent state? And he said to her, go and sin no more. In other words, get your heart right. But he did not stone her.
That's right. That's right.
If anybody had the right to stone her, it would have been Jesus, because he had no sin. But he didn't stone her. Because as a man, he experienced every temptation known to man. Many times we don't get that. Jesus was a man. He was fully man. And he experienced temptation to sin. But he did not yield to it because he did not have a sin nature. Because he was 100% God, the Son. But he understood the concept of yielding to temptation. And he knew that we are weak in many areas.
Yes.
And so he has sympathy for the weak and for the weary and for the warrior and for women, those that can't help themselves. There was another story of an atheist who lived next door to a Christian lady. And the Christian lady was having some financial difficulties. And the atheist, her neighbor, would make fun of her. Said, if you're a Christian, how come you don't have all the things that I have? And would make fun of her and try to belittle her faith. And he heard the Christian lady praying through his window one evening, and Lord, I don't have any food, and I really, really pray that you'll bless me with some food because I'm hungry and all of my cupboards are empty. Will you please give me some food? And the atheist said, uh-huh. And he went and bought some groceries and left it on the doorsteps of this Christian lady. And the next morning, she got up and she saw the box of food on her porch. And she began to leap and jump and rejoice. And the atheist came and said, your God didn't give you that food. I bought you that food. And the Christian lady began to shout and rejoice and jump. And she said, oh Lord, you blessed me with the food and you used the devil to bring it to me.
Yes. Yes.
Think about that. Because our God can use anybody. Do you understand that in the Bible we read that a donkey preached? Now if God, the language in the New Testament says, the dumb ass spake. That's what the Bible says. He used a donkey to bring a message to Balaam, who was a backslidden prophet. So if God can use a donkey to preach, he has no problem using anybody else. But when we are in our times of trouble and we are weary, anybody get weary in here? Weary. You get worn out. The world presses upon you in all kinds of troubles and trials, and it's accumulation of these things. Get you worn out. It's like you're in the ring with this great heavyweight champion, Larry Holmes. He wasn't a big one-punch boxer. He just wore you down with his jab, just jab, jab. And after 10 rounds of that, you don't want to have any more. That's the way the world works. It just jabs at you, and wears you down until you're ready to quit. And Jesus understands that. He understands that some of us are weary. Some of us are worn out. Some of us are warriors. Some of us are in need of some extra help. Where do we find it? We find it in our high priest. We find it in one who is so high but looks down so low that he sees the lowest person in his church, the poorest person, the weakest person, the most struggling person. He looks down and he sees those people and says, I hurt with you. I have pain.
Yeah, that's right, brother.
You. I understand what you're going through. That's who our God is.
Yes.
He's the God that hurts the pain when his people are in pain. And we're to go to him for strength. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of God. What it means? With confidence. You who are weary, you who are worn out, you who are beaten down, you who are full of worry, you women who have these things happening to you, people trying to take advantage of you, man, not treating you right, all of you come to the throne of grace.
That's right, brother.
Boldly, with confidence, to find grace, mercy. Mercy is God withholding judgment, like he did with that woman who was caught in adultery. He withheld judgment from her. That's mercy. That we may obtain mercy. I don't know about you, but I enjoy a full cup of mercy. every day.
Amen.
Yes.
And grace. Grace is his enabling power in your life so that you can go through those times of suffering and weakness and worrying and pain. That's what grace is all about. In time of need. So where do these people go for strength? They go to the rock. They go to the one who made them. They go to the one who can give them things that they will not find any other place on earth.
Yes.
Because you need to be plugged in to heaven to get grace from God.
Yes.
And strength. Strength. Otherwise, those problems will overwhelm you. The devil knows that if he hits you long enough and hard enough, eventually he'll just do this. No matter how strong you are, just do this, and he'll just push you over. So don't let the devil make you into a pushover. Stand fast.
That's right, brother.
But you can't stand in your own strength. You're not strong enough. You need the Lord.
Yes.
That's right, brother. That's right.
In closing, don't pray for an easy life. Pray for strength to overcome the obstacles of life.
Yes.
In every weakness, Jesus is there, hurting along with you. In every failure, Jesus is there, wanting to provide you with the tools for success. In every hurt, Jesus is there, saying, I can relate to that. By the way, do you know the worst thing that ever happened to Jesus? It wasn't the cross. It was being forsaken by God.
That's right, brother. That's right.
That was the cup he was praying for. Lord, remove this cup from me. Not that will, but that will be done. That was the worst thing that ever happened to him. When he was separated from his Father.
That's right.
You and I, as long as we're on this earth, are not separated from God. Now, if you die without Jesus, you will be separated from God in hell. You don't want that to happen to you. You want to come to Jesus now and have him save your soul. But when you're hurting, Jesus is there. In every fall that you have, and you bruise your knees, or you bruise your chest, or you bruise your arm, Jesus is there. In every need, Jesus is there, waiting to supply the things that you're lacking. When God feels your hurt, every time you hurt, every time you go through something that is painful, time you look at yourself and say, I'm so weary and so tired and so worn out. And people don't seem to care. You wonder, when am I going to get relief? Like that song says, I want to hang on till my change comes. Well, there's sympathy there. Because it says in Hebrews 4, we have this great high priest that is passed into the heavens. Jesus, the Son of God. Let us hold fast to our profession, because he is there. We can continue on. So don't let the devil, circumstances, life, bad people wear you down, wear you out, and cause you to lose your faith and lose your hope. It's never as bad as it seems, because Jesus is there. And he is capable of everything. Now, as you look into your heart this morning,
Amen. Amen.
what is it that is causing you to feel pain? Where are you hurting? Where are you feeling the most pain? Wherever you're feeling the most pain, Jesus is there to provide balm. What balm is? It's a soothing ointment to make it feel better. A few weeks ago, I had a bruise on my body. And I don't know exactly how I got it, but I had this bruise in my body. and it was becoming inflamed. And I told my wife about it, and she said, have you tried putting some aloe vera on it? I said, aloe vera? She said, yeah, we have a plant right outside the front door.
Yeah, yeah.
So I listened to Dr. Maritzon's cut off the plant and began to put some balm and some unctions, aloe vera. And sure enough, within a week, the swelling was gone.
It's all right.
Yep.
They took care of it. And that is what Jesus does. When you don't know where to turn to, you don't have any friends, you don't have good friends, or people just don't respond the right way and they don't do what you expect them to do. When you're hurting, you need to come to Jesus and ask him, give me the things that only you can, and he will. I'd like to have you bow your heads and close your eyes at this time. And we're looking. When God feels your hurt,